Welcome to the Playmakers Bar Podcast, the college football edition. Week 2 had some things worked out for them, but we're going to get you ready for week 3. And the two biggest games we're looking at, the battle for Tiger versus Tiger in the SEC West. LSU traveling to the Plains to take on them Auburn Tigers. And we also going to get you ready for Arlington, Texas, in Jerry's world. The number 4 Ohio State Buckeyes, and they found a game without Urban Myers, going against 15-ranked TCU Horned Frogs. We talk about other games. We're going to get into the state of Florida situation. But guess what? It's college football, man. And college football season is always interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another day at the Playmakers Bar Podcast. This is the college edition. Now, if you missed yesterday's episode of the NFL, go check it out because we had a lot of fun with Coach T. But as you all know, I'm your host down at the Playmaker Sallins, my co-host, as always, Dallas Glenn. How's it going?
Good and great.
Now, we're going to get into the college football. We're going to get you prepared for week 3 in the college football season. And the storyline coming out of week 2, what is going on in the state of Florida? Miami had that hellacious loss opening week to LSU. They won last week, but it was against Savannah State. Florida State got punched in the mouth by Virginia Tech and didn't recover. And then they got punched in the mouth again by FSC team called Sanford.
FCS, bro. Yes.
And then the Florida Gators came out. They looked good. They felt great. The Swamp felt back. And they opened the game against Charleston. And then the streak ended.
31 years.
31 years Kentucky was ended in Gainesville at the Swamp. So right now, the best team in the state of Florida is a group of 5 team.
Yep.
And that means the UCF Knights.
And the crazy thing is, they don't even get to play this week.
Yeah, prayers go out to the Carolinas. Yeah, the USC North Carolina game canceled due to the hurricane, and West Virginia NC State canceled due to the hurricane. So pray that everybody in the Carolinas will be safe as this hurricane is expected to hit landfall somewhere a little later on in the week. But with that being said, let us get started. Dallas, what was your takeaway from week 2?
Some more Cinderella stories, Phil. BYU lost to Cal. Arizona's done. Your Floridas, your South Carolinas. But besides people basically being out the running now, I want to know, what does 24 and 25 in the AP top 25 really mean? Like, are those the teams that are like, you want to look good if you had them ranked and want to say you guys knew it first? Or are those the teams where it's like, everybody else sucks. These two just suck the least. Because, even though it's early and all that stuff, LSU has not looked like the 25th best team in the country ever this season. Everybody else that's been ranked 25 after them has looked like garbage. So either how bad did you think LSU was in the preseason, or what are we using to crack that 25th spot? Because then that makes me wonder, okay, what do you think about Boise and UCF then? Because they are awfully close to 25. And if they lose, I'm pretty sure they drop out to 25 completely. So that's what I've been thinking about.
That being said, my question to the AP voters out there: if you started the season, the preseason rankings, and you had UCF over Boise State, and then after the first week, you still had UCF over Boise, what difference did it make from week 2 to week 3 that Boise was supposed to jump over UCF? Did Boise do something that we missed and UCF didn't? Because if I recall, both teams are 2-0. Both teams with dominant victories. So why does Boise jump over UCF? I don't care if they plan to rank them number 24th ranked Oklahoma State in Stillwater, Oklahoma. What did Boise do that UCF didn't do to justify y'all jumping them over the Knights? That is my question. And as I get ready to close out week 2 and we prepare for week 3, Dallas has a 4-game lead and picks over me. Shout out to him for picking the upset of Arizona State over Michigan State. Herman is doing something right over there. I tried to give Kevin Sumlin another chance, and they got smashed by Houston.
He betrayed you.
That was ugly. You already know about the Kentucky ending the streak against Florida. But to my defense, and Dallas can give me, and Dallas will agree, I did have a feeling at some point in the near future that this streak was going to end. I just hope it will be next year. But that wasn't the case. So now we're gonna go ahead and go into week 3, and we're gonna open week 3 with quite of a thinker, to say the least. If you're not following me, just hold on. The number 5 Oklahoma Sooners, finally ranked in the top 5, about time, are on the road for the first time against a Big 12 opponent in Iowa State. Now most people are sitting here like, man, look here, Iowa State just lost to Iowa. Don't matter. That's a rivalry game, in-state rivalry. Records and whatever team look gets thrown out the window. Who's ever better on that day? That's usually how rivalries work. But let me tell y'all something. For those who are Big 12 fans, they would agree with me on this. Going to Iowa State and being ranked top 5, it's not a good thing. You might come out with the victory. You might survive, but Iowa State comes to play. If you ranked in the top 5 and you come in a house, they come to play. Now, from what I last saw, Oklahoma's a 17-point favorite, Dallas. I believe that's about right.
It's fair. I'm surprised by it, honestly, but it's fair.
Because, like I said, just because you rank top 5 and Iowa right now don't look good doesn't mean Oklahoma's going to run right through them. I'm going to pick Oklahoma, but don't be surprised if in the first half, Oklahoma is having some trouble. Plus, they lost their starting running back, Robert Anderson, for the rest of the season. So, don't be surprised if in the first half, Oklahoma has some troubles. And then maybe in the second half, pull away. So, don't be surprised. I'm picking on you, though. Go ahead, Dallas.
To be honest, it's unfortunate, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful or snarky way. Them losing their starting running back doesn't really have much of an effect because he is literally always hurt. At the end of the day, Oklahoma and the rest of the Big 12, that's a passing conference. That's the reason why Iowa is able to beat Iowa, because Iowa basically counters all of that whenever they end up playing a Big 12 team, even though they're in the Big 10. That being said, when it's pure Big 12 action, dude, it's throwing the rock. So at the end of the day, draws, screens, counters, all that's just to set up the passing game. So does Iowa State have a passing defense that can even corral Oklahoma's passing offense? The answer is no. I mean, I think what you just said was a very nice way of saying it's going to be a blowout, but it might be a good game in the first half. And, to be honest, when you're a top 5 team in the country, that's basically how you need to expect all your games to go. You're a top 5 team, so it's not like you're going to sneak up on anybody. You're not LSU versus Miami in the first game of the season. You're not Virginia Tech versus Florida State in the first game of the season. You're a top 5 team, and everybody knows that every win matters. Now, Iowa State just lost a game. They just lost a game. And they're playing in a conference where they might not get in if they win the conference, but at least they'll have a shot to, depending on what happens in the ACC, which is looking woeful. I mean, to say it'll be close in the first half, I think at this point it's a gimme. I think when Alabama plays their SEC schedule, that more than proves that top 5 teams should always be on alert every week of the season. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's going to be a blowout. There's no need to be nice about it. There's no need to try to look right if it goes the other way. It's going to be a blowout. It's okay. It's an in-conference opponent. Iowa State isn't going to do much this year. They might get to a bowl. They might not. They're one of those teams in the Power 5 conference that's in the bottom tier. Call it what it is. 17-point favorite. I'm surprised. I thought it would have hit the 20s, but 17 is fair because in order for it to be a blowout, it has to at least be 3 scores anyway. I agree with the spread. I'm thinking this is a 3-score or more game.
Now we're going to move on. And we're going down to Gainesville. As you already know, the stranglehold that Florida had on Kentucky was broken. There's no longer a stranglehold hanging over Kentucky anymore. They snapped the streak in Gainesville. And to be honest, talking to people in Gator Nation on Facebook and stuff, they not really too down on the loss. I think they understand all streaks are made to be broken at some point. I think it's just bad that it had to happen in Dan Mullen's first year as head man. But there's optimism in Florida still. They're moving on. And all of a sudden, this game here is not as a clear-cut favorite as we'd like to be as they play in Colorado State, who, by the way, came back in the fourth quarter to answer 25 unanswered points to beat the Arkansas Razorback in Arkansas.
Jesus Christ. Is Arkansas really that bad, or is Colorado State really this good?
So, I'm gonna pick my Gators. I'm gonna roll with my Gators because I'm a Gator, and I'm gonna sink with the ships. But yeah, we better be on alert for this one. Dallas.
Okay, so this is a lot to unpack. I'm sorry. This is a lot to unpack. Okay, we finished week 2. I'm just trying to see where we're on the card because this is a lot to get through. If this was any other game against a group of 5 team, I would say Florida. Because it's looking like the trend is Florida ain't going to win an SEC game if they can't beat Kentucky, but at least they'll get 2 wins against non-SEC teams. Except this particular group of 5 team plays in maybe the hardest group of 5 conference, period. And they just came back in the fourth quarter against the SEC West team. Common sense tells me group of 5 team, SEC team at home, even if it's close, SEC team. But now you have a Colorado State team who's basically been playing competition the whole doggone season. Like, who did Colorado State play week 1 again?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but it was a decent team. And by decent, I mean, I think it was a Power 5 team. I don't know if these were supposed to be money games. I don't know if these power conferences thought that Colorado State was just some team that they could, pad their records against. But Florida's looking terrible. Florida fans, it's what you're telling me about the Facebook group or whatever, that's denial. That's the first stage of the 5 stages. You beat a FCS team, you're happy. You lose to Kentucky, oh, well, all streaks are made to be broken. What are you guys going to say if you lose to Colorado State?
We're in hell of trouble.
Like I said, I don't know. The SEC season is coming up. I mean, I'll pick Florida. It's week 3. After this week, you know what you're getting every week. You know what college teams are going to do what. after this week. Whoever's in the top 10, look at their schedule, see who they'll get upset against. But it will be an upset. Whoever's in the 20 to 25th, expect them to lose. Expect that to just be fluid because they ain't beating nobody once the conference schedule starts. I'll go Florida simply for the fact that if Florida can't win this game, Florida could go 1-11, and that is impossible. Even me, because I don't care about Florida at all. I am completely indifferent. But I cannot fathom a year where Florida goes 1-11. You can't beat Kentucky. Streaks, whatever. There was a reason why that streak was 31 years. You got the Florida-Georgia game. You got the SEC West teams you got to face. Do y'all play Vanderbilt this year? Because now Vanderbilt's going to play Notre Dame this week, even though we're not talking about that game. And if they look anywhere close and anywhere decent, how wouldn't they beat y'all? If they could play Notre Dame at Notre Dame close, how can't they beat the Gators?
Welcome to the SEC, Dallas.
There's the SEC, and then there's the season has started. If Vanderbilt plays the number 8 team in the country close, how do you beat Vanderbilt? Who have you played? Who will you play that you can beat? I'm picking Florida simply because, damn my record. I don't care about my record. Like, dude, for the sport of college football, Florida cannot lose this game because Florida legit is going to have double-digit losses if they lose this game. And that's unfathomable. We would have to Google that. I don't know if there's ever been a season where Florida had double-digit losses. Like, period. They might have had 8. Hell, they might have had 9. But 10 or... Dog, nah. I can't see it. I can't see it. Because even if they win this game and lose the rest, that's still 2-10. I can't see it. They have to win this game.
I agree with you. But we're going to stay to the SEC conference. And we're going to slide over to the West. Because the West has 2 games. And dare I say, Alabama's first real test is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Oxford, Mississippi. The number 1 team in the country, them Crimson Tide of Alabama, headed by Nick Saban.
The Elephants.
On the road against a sneaky, talented, dangerous Ole Miss team. Dallas, I'm going to let you go first.
It's Alabama. I mean, sneaky, dangerous, all those adjectives. It's Nick Saban. If this was the SEC circa 2006 to 2013, okay. But even with the SEC's ability to compete with teams outside the conference, Nick Saban, this is how good Alabama is. This is how far ahead from the pack Nick Saban is. He's still trying to figure out who his quarterback's going to be full time. He's cussing out reporters, telling reporters he has 2 good quarterbacks, and he's going to figure it out when he figures it out. This man is figuring out his quarterback situation in the middle of games while blowing out people. Everywhere you look, NFL prospect. The worst player on the team is still going to go to the Arena League or something. The special teamer that runs down and only has 3 tackles on special teams could probably go to the Indoor Football League or Arena League and start at receiver or corner next season. Ole Miss isn't going to win. Even if it's close, Ole Miss ain't going to win. It's Alabama.
Will it be close if you don't mind me playing that basket? How much a chance do you give Ole Miss?
It's a divisional game, so you can't just outright disrespect Ole Miss because the SEC is still the SEC. They like to cannibalize themselves. So, I mean, I say maybe, Tui, his first real test, ego might get in the way. He might get caught slipping. They might win by 10, somewhere between, 1 and 10 points. I give Ole Miss making it a game. But once again, like I said, Nick Saban, he's leagues ahead. The moment he sees Ole Miss having a chance, he's going to do what needs to be done. Whether that's put in Jalen Hurts because he has the experience and he knows how to manage an offense, or whether he puts in Tui because he needs somebody who could throw the rock if it becomes a shootout. It'll be under 10. It'll be a game. Alabama just knows how to win those kind of games, though.
First road test for the Crimson Tide. Pretty much, there's really no quarterback controversy anymore because Nick Saban finally gave it up and gave it to Tagovailoa. So he's the starting quarterback. You're right, it's a divisional game, but Alabama by 17.
17?
By 17. Because I watched Alabama, and you'll be up 50 points on the team, and you commit a foul. Coach Saban getting on you like the game is on the line.
Like it's a field goal difference. He's just ahead.
But he makes you feel like you're down 3, and you damn near cost us the game.
I wish I could coach track like he coaches football. I mean, dominant. Alabama is literally playing against themselves. I honestly wish that I was an Alabama fan. I do. I wonder what it's like every season to it's basically your championship to lose. I wonder what that's like. Even the Patriots don't have it that good.
I'm picking Alabama by 17, man.
I can't be mad at it. It's a division game, which is why it's like, I have to give them the respect. But at the same time, 17 ain't disrespectful. It's realistic. I can't be mad at that either.
It's
the number one team in the country. Ole Miss is unranked. It is what it is. The fact that me and you both said something under 21, we're giving that game the respect needed enough already. It is what it is. Unranked versus number one. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Going to the state of Alabama now, because the other Alabama team is playing a very important game. This is probably the most important game until the Iron Bowl. It's the famous Tiger versus Tiger. Number 11 LSU Tigers are at the Plains against number 7 the Auburn Tigers. You're talking about a loss here could pretty much knock you out of the conference talk.
What's crazy is both of these teams, have wins against top 10 out of conference opponents. So whichever team wins this game, even if they were to lose to Alabama, they have the treatment. If Alabama were to win the SEC conference outright, is Georgia better than Auburn or LSU, whoever wins this game? This game literally has playoff implications because I don't know if the Pac-12 champion is going to be better than whoever wins this game and loses to Alabama. Washington already had their shot to prove it. Washington already lost head up. Miami already lost head up. So you're looking at second place finishers or potential conference champions. They've already lost head up to the SEC early in the season. SEC had no fear with their out-of-conference scheduling. Best against the best, and they won straight up. This game literally has playoff implications. I mean, even if Notre Dame wins out, you're looking at Notre Dame, Washington, Miami, and Oklahoma. Those are your hypotheticals. Whoever loses this game is probably going to lose to Alabama. That's 2 losses. We can knock them out. But because these teams are in the same division as Alabama, they have a chance to only have 1 loss against the best team in the entire country and not play for a conference championship. If Georgia loses head up to Alabama, then it is what it is. I mean, let's just be real. Alabama got in because they didn't even have a chance to play in the conference game, so they didn't have a chance to lose to Georgia head up. You're talking about Alabama eliminating Georgia outright from the get-go. This is tough. Because, I mean, shoot. I know we need to get going, but say hypothetically Auburn wins this game, Darnell. They've already beat Washington. Say Washington doesn't look good when their conference schedule starts. Do you put the Pac-12 champion over a 1-loss Auburn?
Interesting question. But let's flip it. LSU destroyed Miami. Well, Miami ain't the Miami everybody thought they was.
Mm-hmm.
What does the committee do then?
You know what's interesting? Say Miami isn't the Miami that we thought they were, and say that they only get to the conference championship game because the rest of their division is that bad. Clemson would, in theory, stomp them. So if LSU's best win is against a team that got stomped by the ACC champion, I don't think it holds the weight, because when you look at the Pac-12, it still was Washington's conference to lose. Washington can still play the teams that are a game up on them head up and catch those games back directly. Like, Washington's still the favorite. Washington is still ranked somewhat high to where that win can be a great win. I think that Miami, they slipped. They drunk their own juice. So when it comes to the playoff implications, LSU has less of a chance than Auburn, but at the same time, Clemson's quarterback situation ain't that great. Now, again, I think me and you said this last week. It's unfair when you're comparing them to Taj Boyd and Deshaun Watson. That's unfair. But at the same time, it's a clear drop-off in production. Quarterback play was basically the reason why they didn't win the national championship last year. And they were returning that same stable of quarterbacks. So,
shameless plug here. Shout out to Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M. Y'all played a hell of a game.
You made Clemson looks that much better. Clemson looks that much better. And, unless Miami were able to pull off an amazing upset, that win might not look as good in the big scheme of things when we talk about, splitting hairs with the college football playoff committee. That being said, using this logic that we've been talking about, Auburn has to have the edge, right? They know they have to play the Iron Bowl, so they know they have to already have a good record because they know that they need to spot themselves that game. I think there's a difference between being prepared and looking past the game. I think Auburn is prepared because they know that the committee has given precedence to whoever loses the SEC West. Like, the committee has given precedence. Like, if you're the better team and you didn't win your conference, you can still get in. They've done it twice now.
But may I interject, though? What about LSU? LSU will see Alabama before Auburn does. And it will be in Death Valley.
And that's the thing. It's like, can you really pick against Alabama? Even if it's in Death Valley, even if LSU was like a top 10 team, can you really pick against Alabama? Because Nick Saban, it's like you said, Nick Saban doesn't take any game lightly. Nick Saban would definitely have not been close against Stanford. If Nick Saban was close against Stanford, he would have benched everybody and played everybody else. It's Alabama's too deep. With LSU, with Auburn, with Florida, with Washington, a quarterback goes down, a receiver goes down, a linebacker goes down. That greatly affects their season. It's like I said, Alabama could send the whole team to an Arena Football League Pro Day, and every player is going to get signed. I don't know, man. Alabama's basically filled in pro football teams every week. And it's in Auburn.
Yep.
Oof.
It's on the plains.
Like I said, I think there's a difference between being prepared and knowing your strategy as a coaching staff and letting your team look ahead. I think Auburn knows that they have the Iron Bowl coming up, and they know that they can't have two losses. It's a must-win game for Auburn, whereas LSU, I don't think they're surprising anybody. They definitely won't be a Cinderella story, but it's one of those things where it's like Auburn is clearly on a mission. They remember that UCF game. They don't care. They don't want a rematch with UCF. They could give a damn about getting a rematch in the Peach Bowl. They lost the SEC championship, and then they lost it. They have that taste in their mouth. And Gus Malzahn has been saying something for a long time. He's been saying something to get them boys chirping and get them boys jacking and get them boys working. So I think that, resume-wise, and strategy-wise, I'm basically doing the same thing I did with Florida. Auburn has to win this game. Because if they don't, it's a wrap. Because if they can't beat LSU, I don't think they upset Alabama. And even if they do upset Alabama, it probably won't matter because that'd be Alabama's only loss.
I'm looking at it from the LSU standpoint. They was overlooked. They felt overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all put us 25.
25 is terrible. All the 25 teams have been terrible except for them.
Us against is ranked 8th.
Mm.
But it's like a 17 spot difference.
You see, they're 11. You see, they quickly fixed that.
I think LSU still feel like they being overlooked. Because who really talking about LSU? Have you heard anybody be talking about LSU?
Mm-mm.
What is it? Alabama?
It's
Georgia?
Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia, really, to be honest.
Auburn? Florida being back Kentucky?
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about losers. They're talking about losers more than they are LSU. LSU actually has a season to play for. They talking about people whose seasons are done.
LSU smack your ACC champion in the mouth.
Yes, I had Miami playing in the national championship game. They donezo that in 3 quarters.
And yet nobody's really talking about it until they playing Auburn. Oh, now we gotta talk about them. Like, hold on, wait a minute. We took up 14 spots. Y'all looked over us. Now we at 11. Oh, now y'all want to talk about us.
Yeah, we 11. Notre Dame over here. Notre Dame beat Michigan. And they won a game they were supposed to win against Ball State. They're number 8, and we're 11. How is Notre Dame? They ain't even in a conference. How are they above us? That's exactly what they saying.
I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to go with the Tigers of LSU in this one. This is going to be a dogfight. And this can go either way.
Oh, it's going to be good. That's the SEC CBS game, right?
Yes, that is the 3:30 game. We going different ways, but we see the same thing in both teams. Somebody's got to win, though.
This is the exact opposite of any NFC West or South or whatever to do. Like, somebody has to win because both these teams are juggernauts. Both these teams have the ability to make the playoffs without winning the conference. They're that good. Somebody's still got to win, though.
Same as Alabama. Running game, defense.
It doesn't matter what league you play in, except for maybe the Arena Football League. If you can run the ball and play defense, you're going to win the game.
Just so who runs the ball better and who makes the better defensive plays is going to decide this game. And now, let's get into the group of 5s that Dallas is like.
Mm-hmm.
As you heard me earlier complain about how Boise State jumped over UCF in the AP poll rankings.
Mm-hmm.
They are on the road in Stillwater, Oklahoma to take on the 24th ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, we got some competition. Now, we get to see what Boise State really looks like.
Say what you will. I said what I said, and I stand by what I said about how the 24th and 25th ranked teams have looked so far this season. However, Oklahoma State has the best opportunity to change my perception. Look, Boise State, they've been ranked from the get-go. This isn't a Cinderella team that sneaks up on you. This isn't a cupcake team that gets an easy $500K. This is a real team.
They was ranked before Oklahoma State got ranked.
Exactly. This is a team that's been doing it since like 2008. This school is known. When this school has a down year, they win like 8 or 9 games. Teams wish. There's teams in Power 5 conferences that wish their down years could be 5 or 6 games. Boise State, a down year, they make a bowl and blow out somebody in a bowl and say, we'll get them next year. This is a legitimate win for Oklahoma State if they can get it. Notice I said if. What has Oklahoma State done in history for us to have faith in them beating an established team who knows that they have to go out and do their best every single week? This isn't a surprise team that's been on the rise for a couple years. This is a team that during conference realignment could easily be in the Big 12 or the Big 10. If the Big East ever came back for football, Boise State would probably be the first one in line. So, I mean, I think Boise put Oklahoma State on their schedule for a reason. Out of every Power 5 team they could have picked, they didn't pick Washington State. They didn't pick Rutgers. They didn't pick Maryland. They didn't pick Duke. They didn't pick Kentucky. They didn't pick Colorado. Out of every Power 5 team they could have picked, they picked Oklahoma State. I think that's for a reason. It's close. It might even be a last-minute field goal. They might be talking about it on SportsCenter for like the next week. But I got Boise State by less than 5.
Oklahoma State lost Mason Rudolph and James Washington. Both of the Pittsburgh Steelers, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
Come in not ranked. Not talking about being the fact that in the Big 12 talk.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much nobody's talking about Mike Gundy and the Cowboys. Could it be because they sick and tired talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the fact that Oklahoma State is the Cowboys? They don't want to talk about Cowboys. Could that be the reason?
I mean, they both underachieve.
Now Oklahoma State is ranked. They're at home. Oklahoma State is known for being in shootouts at home.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's good or bad.
Does Boise have the defense to slow down the offense of Oklahoma State? Or does Boise State have the offense to keep up with the other offense of Oklahoma State? This is one of the group of 5 teams we said to look out for. And we said they have always ranked for a reason. It's put up a shut up time. Can the Broncos do it to the Cowboys in the Cowboys' backyard? I say Boise State. Last minute field goal.
Boise State doesn't have a chance this year to make the playoffs at all. But if they ever do, gotta win this game. Not a game like this. Not a game similar to this. Not a game this game. This game, this era, this season, this pressure. You got to win this game. You got to win this game so that you can show the coaches, you can show the AD, and you can show the country that the next season or the season after that, when you schedule 3 Power 5 teams to open up your season, you came to ball, you came to play, and you better put us somewhere above 12. You got to be in the top 4 to make the playoff, and their conference is their conference. It is what it is. But if you ever want to make the playoffs, this exact game, got to win it.
And now we move on. Speaking of the Cowboys, AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas.
Jesus.
Game of the week.
Oh, no.
Number 4, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. The minor game of Urban Meyer's suspension. Against 15 ranked Horned Frogs of TCU.
Cooking frogs.
And if I'm remember correctly, College game day will be in Arlington, Texas for this game.
Shoot, TCU could have been unranked. Of course they would have went to Arlington, Texas. Too good of an opportunity to pass up media-wise.
This is the game that I said circle before the Urban Meyer suspension, and then I said double circle it after the Urban Meyer suspension. The Buckeyes, the Horned Frogs, undefeated, nice victories, dominant victories. Something's got to give. Somebody's playoff host is going to go up in smokes in this one. And to honestly, Ohio State looked very good. They did what they need to do against Oregon State, against Rutgers. But now you got some competition. Now we're going to see how good that offense really is, how good that defense really is. And just being the person that I am, I'm picking TCU.
Well, I mean, being completely honest, let's see, what was Ohio State's first games? Rutgers and it was Oregon State and Rutgers, right?
Yep.
Okay, so say what you will. People might have forgotten, but Rutgers is a conference opponent for Ohio State. Played a Pac-12 opponent. It's their fault they're that bad. Still a Pac-12 opponent. So Ohio State, one of the few teams in the country, bam, 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 Power 5, Power 5, Power 5 to open up the year. Say what you will. Rutgers, on paper, everything considered, should either beat SMU or lose to SMU dangerously close. Oregon State, SMU is probably going to be one of their 2 wins. Complete clean slate. Teams out here, they're warming up against FCS teams. They're playing a big game like Notre Dame, then playing a cupcake to kind of sort of, not have that second week letdown. Ohio State, coach got suspended, and technically, it goes on to suspension on paper. Coach gets suspended. They deal with all that adversity. They come out. This new quarterback came out of nowhere, complete no name. He's looking like the best quarterback they've ever had. I'm talking pure quarterback, not quarterback who can run in the system, not dual threat. Like, he's looking like the best quarterback they've ever had. He's done this. They've done this against Power 5 competition. TCU coming in wasn't expected to do much conference-wise. They were expected to compete for their conference, but they weren't expected to really win it. That win against SMU, it doesn't really impress me. Who they played in the first week, it escapes me, but I mean, it's the fact still remains. Ohio State, they're not going to pull a Michigan State. They're not going to keep looking past people or just keep getting caught slipping. I think Ohio State knows that they scheduled those 3 teams, much like Boise State. They scheduled those 3 teams for a reason. Power 5 teams they know they can beat. Ohio State knew where they were going to play this game. Technically, it's a neutral site game. Technically. They knew where they were going to play this game. They knew what kind of stage they were going to put themselves on, and they probably predicted that TCU was going to be ranked and make this a good game for their resume. Urban Meyer, ethically, is what it is. Urban Meyer, as a football coach, strictly as a football coach, he doesn't walk into situations not preparing his team. Can he be on the sidelines? No, but he's still been able to coach them throughout the week. Ohio State's going to be prepared. Even before Urban Meyer got suspended, they knew what this game was going to mean. I got Ohio State.
There you go. We see opposites in 2 games. These 2 games are big games. But we're going to keep the ball rolling. So real quickly, we're going to Texas. USC 22. Texas Longhorns no longer ranked. Where you going?
USC, they got to win it to keep any kind of shot of playing in the Pac-12 championship game. UCLA's donezo. So they basically got to keep pace with Stanford, or Stanford in the North. Stanford's in the North. So, yeah, it's basically USC's division to lose. So they got to win this game. They know they got to win this game. So USC.
I normally don't do this. I'm picking USC. Tom Herman, he has a real big problem down in Texas.
He's not the answer.
So now let's stay with the Pac-12, and we have a Pac-12 matchup. Could it be a preview of the Pac-12 championship? Number 10, Washington, who still is ranked in the top 10. Yes, that's right. After losing to Auburn, because that was a close loss. They had the opportunity to didn't convert. Against Utah. Some people who said there'll be a surprise team in the Pac-12 South. I'm going to Washington. I say they'll escape. Dallas.
Picking Washington, too. I mean, they'd be escaping, but not just because they were my pick. It's because they're already a game behind. They realize this. They know this. they got to do it. I know I said that for a lot of teams, but you're coming into part of the season now where it's like you put yourselves in this position with the order of scheduling. Coaches go tit for tat. But at the end of the day, your first 3 weeks are crucial. However you scheduled those first 3 weeks, that's your fault. Washington knew what they were doing with the Auburn game. So they got to pull it out somehow. They got to figure it out.
Which leads us to our final talk of week 3. Dallas upset pick from last week. Herman Edwards and the Arizona State Sun Devils are on the road to a group of 5 team that we both said that we on the lookout for. San Diego State Aztecs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make a real quick pick because I know, Dallas, this is a game that you really want to dive into because you like both teams on both sides. But I'm going to say Herman Edwards, you did something. I just asked you to not fall into that proverbial trap. Big win, and then you get a disappointing loss. Don't fall for it, Herm. Don't do it. I'm picking you. Don't fall for that proverbial trap right there. Big win. Then I was on letdown the next week. Don't do it. Come on.
All right. Herman Edwards. Clearly, he should have all the respect. Arizona State wasn't picked by anybody to do anything relevant. We're talking New Year's 6. We're talking playoffs, surely. We're talking competing for the conference. Herman Edwards, he basically had to just go out there and make it look decent. That being said, he beat the 15th ranked team in his first year. Me and Darnell, me and you were having a personal conversation about head coaches and coaching styles and stuff one day, and Herman Edwards isn't really known for either side of the ball. You could tell from Herman Edwards' time with the Kansas City Chiefs and Jets. You could tell from his analysis on ESPN. You could tell that he really is an executive style head coach. He knows how to run a team. He knows how to run an organization. He knows how to make the best of what he has. If he could lead that team and corral that team to beat Michigan State, it makes me wonder what he could lead them to do against San Diego State. That being said, San Diego State's head coach, Rocky Long, has a record, if I'm reading this correctly, he has a record of 65-30 overall, 42-13 in conference. What that tells me is if the other team on the other side is unranked, he's got a shot. 65-30. Then he won 65 games at New Mexico. He went 65-69, almost 500 at a school that, clearly hasn't done anything since he left. We're talking about a guy who has made bowls every single year he's been at San Diego State. 8-5, 9-4, 8-5, 7-6, 11-3, 11-3, 10-3, 1-1 right now. Why am I saying all this information? I'm basically saying that the head coaching battle, which is very rare in team sports, people very rarely look at head coaches as being the most prominent member of a team. These two head coaches know how to get it done. You don't win double-digit games 3 seasons in a row. You don't make bowl games every year you've been on a team unless you're beating somebody who wants to play you for that money game. You got to capitalize on those money games, or you got to play those money games real close. Neither team is going to look over the other. But this is Herman Edwards' first season in college. Is it his first season in college in a while, or his first season in college ever?
This is the first time ever.
His first season in college ever. And he just beat the 15th ranked team in the country, a team who's made the college football playoff before. It's time for the it's time for the letdown. It's time for the letdown. Lessons. People think that the NFL is the highest level of football, and it very well could be. But you got a coach like Nick Saban who didn't succeed in the NFL, but is a legend in college and is getting paid way more than he ever would have got paid in the NFL. It's pretty much a different sport altogether. Herm Edwards has been analyzing the NFL. The only time he's really taught the college football players lately has been to tell them don't press send. Now he has to analyze a team that has never missed a bowl game. He's never been to one. I think the last bowl game he played in was the Super Bowl he played in as a player. It's a whole new world. And, I'm sure he has assistant coaches behind him that are telling him about San Diego State. I'm sure he's reading his film. Herm Edwards is doing his due diligence. Herm Edwards is going to do whatever he needs to do. That being said, Rocky Long's a good head coach. Any coach who almost went 500 with a school like New Mexico gets my respect. I'm picking San Diego State. It'll be close. It'll basically be the best coaching chess match that we see, including the college football playoff. This is going to be the best head coaching matchup that we see all season. I'm going to have to listen to it on the radio or something, but this is going to be the game to watch. It might not be game of the week, but if you're somebody who wants to be a coach, hell, if you're somebody who wants to be a teacher, this is the game to watch because this is going to be a coaching masterpiece. I got San Diego State, though.
Herm Edwards going to fall into the trap, huh?
It's not so much falling into the trap. It's just, hey, Rocky Long, he's been coaching the sport of college football. He has 130 wins and 99 losses. It's just one of those things where it's like San Diego State isn't a trap at this point. They're not Boise State. They're not UCF. But San Diego State's just one of those teams where it's like, hey, they're always going to be there. They're always going to be that hand. They're always that team where you look at the Rutgers of the world. You look at the Washington States of the world. You look at the Arizona States of the world, and you just look like, why did you schedule that for a money game? Why do you think they need your money? Why would you do that to yourself?
That's a good take. And on that note, that's all we have for you to get you prepared for week 3. People in Carolina, we'll send our condolences to you one last time. Be safe. Make it out alive. We know what you've been through. We went through it last year. Be safe. And on that note, a little later on, we'll be back for the wrestling part, and Dallas going to let you know what's coming.
If you feel like saving $10 this week, I wouldn't blame you. This is like I said in the NFL show. I don't really have a tease. This is the 4th pay-per-view in a row where it's kind of like, okay, where are you going with this? This, I don't want to spoil the content of the podcast, but I think WWE did what we tell college teams not to do. I think they got caught looking ahead. It's hard putting on a TV show every week. It's hard putting on a live TV show every week. There's no breaks. There's no writer strikes. The actors, they don't get to, recharge and work on other projects to freshen up their artistic palette. It's, I don't know whether it's writer's block. I don't know whether everybody's trying to focus on Evolution and the Australia show. But before the pay-per-view even goes on, I could just tell WWE really dropped the ball with Hell in a Cell. And we're going to talk about it later.
So later on.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.